podcast created by the Young Ambassadors. My name is Caitlin.
My name's Kyra. My name is Ree.
And my name is Evie.
Today we're interviewing Jenny Wilkinson from the National Theatre Connections. Hi Jenny.
I'm really happy to be here. My name is Jenny and I'm the Connections producer at the National Theatre.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Describing myself in 3 words, I would say lively, Geordie, and interested.
What would you say is your top 3 plays that you've seen this year?
Top 3 plays that I've seen this year. Good question. My favourite all-time play is Les Miserables, which is the musical. It's quite a famous musical, and it is my favourite play of all time. I saw that quite recently. I recently saw a play called Romeo and Julie at the National Theatre as well, which was a lovely Welsh play, and I really, really enjoyed that. It was a version of Romeo and Juliet, but modern, about a young couple that meet and fall in love. My favourite play of all time as well is called The Pitman Painters, which is a play about miners who start painting painting pictures in an art club, and then they meet to talk about what is art and whether their paintings are any good or not. And that's my favourite, The Pitman Painters by Lee Hall.
What is the National Theatre about?
The National Theatre is a big theatre company that covers all of the UK and provides lots of different theatre and community opportunities for people all across the UK. So we make big productions on stage at a venue in London on the South Bank area of London, and then also produce lots of different projects all across the UK and internationally for many, many different audiences and with lots of different groups and communities.
Do you have any information on how the National Theatre was created?
The National Theatre has been running for a really, really long time. So it was formally created in 1963 by a director called Laurence Olivier, who was also an actor and put a show together to go on at the National Theatre. There was huge demand for a national theatre to exist throughout the 1800s and through the 1900s and taking us to today, to have a place in the UK that creates, represents and performs lots of different work that represents all of the voices of people from all across the UK and capture that diversity in a place that lets us make plays and celebrate them and put them on all of the stages.
Okay, so what is Connections and how did you get involved in it?
Connections is the National Theatre's Youth Theatre Festival. So it's been running for 28 years. It is a celebration of new writing and youth theatre. So every year we, as a team, commission 10 writers to write 10 new plays, which are aimed towards young people and youth theatre groups across the UK. So those plays can be about anything at all, but we hope that they serve the ideas and creativity and interests of young people and plays that they would like to see and be a part of and be in. So we work with between 250 and 300 youth theatre and school groups every year. And as a basic format, groups choose the play that they want to perform in October, November each year, and then start rehearsals in their schools or youth theatres, and then perform to their audiences in their home youth theatre or location in March and April, in February and March each year. And then all of those groups then go on to perform at a partner theatre festival. So this year we've got 36 partner theatres that we're working with, that includes Crewe Lyceum, and other partner theatres we're working with are venues such as Soho Theatre or Pitlochry Festival Theatre up in Scotland, the Lyric Theatre in Belfast, or the Fire Station Arts Centre in Sunderland. So all of those, we've got 270-ish groups working with us this year. All of them then go to perform on one of those partner theatre stages to present their work. And we celebrate that with great enthusiasm and are so proud of all of the work that comes out of all of those rehearsals to be put onto those stages. in June or July every year, we then have a week-long celebration at the National Theatre where 10 companies are chosen to represent all of those groups, one of each play that comes to the National Theatre. And we have a big festival there that looks at all of those plays, and a performance of each takes place, which is a really lovely, brilliant, triumphant representation of all of the groups that have taken part that year.
How did you get involved with, of course, like all the like national theatres and all that?
I was part of a youth theatre when I was younger called Live Youth Theatre, based in Newcastle. And being a part of a youth theatre was my favourite thing growing up, and it really informed and helped me through finding out what I wanted to do as I was growing up. So it had always really inspired me, and I've always wanted to work within youth theatres. So I saw a job at the National Theatre producing their Youth Theatre Festival, and applied for that and got the job because I explained how passionate I was from my time being a part of youth theatre there. Before working at the National Theatre, I have done so far about 10 years of working at different theatre companies, such as the National Youth Theatre and British Youth Music Theatre, and a company called Cellar Door, and at the Donmar Warehouse, producing different schools and community theatre tours and projects. So it's really, really nice to be able to bring that knowledge to Connections, because it's such a wonderful project to be working on, that it's nice to be able to share all of those experiences with groups.
So working with National Theatre and Connections, what does your day-to-day life look like?
Great question. It's very varied, and it's a really exciting and interesting job. I really like working with youth theatres and young people making plays in theatre, because you never know what to expect from the work that's made, which is a really beautiful and interesting thing. So depending on what time of year it is, we might be working with writers to develop their plays. We might be at youth theatre shows to kind of see the work that they've been making and cheerlead all of that. We might be organising and doing a lot of administration behind the scenes about booking theatre venues or directors or colleagues to make the work happen. So it's a lot of working hard behind the scenes, and then turning up to see a lot of shows, and then enjoy the performances that are made as part of those.
What are the benefits of the Connections to the young people?
There are loads of benefits for taking part in Connections, I believe. Having attended a youth theatre when I was young, I know that the skills that I gained from it are measurable and loads. It'll be really interesting to speak to all of the participants who go on to loads of different things after Connections, which might be performing, working in the theatre in various different roles, whether that's backstage or in the venues or on stage. And other people go on to become to do many other different things. I think some of the main skills are the work ethic of turning up and being a part of a team and taking part in a collaborative process, and the confidence that it takes to stand up on stage, having learnt your lines and been part of a rehearsal process, is a really, really incredible thing to be proud of, that you've shared in that teamwork of creating something and delivering and accessing all of your creativity to create a really lovely product at the end. I think is a really life-affirming and proud moment to really celebrate.
And for the last question, we want to know how can young people get involved in Connections in the National Theatre?
Applications for Connections 2024 will open in April of this year. And if you head to nationaltheatre.org.uk/connections, there is a link that you can click to register your interest now. So if you register your interest, we will be sending out all of the information on how you can apply in April of this year, and that link is available now, nationaltheatre.org.uk/connections.
Thank you so much for letting us interview you and knowing all this information, and we hope you enjoyed your time with us today, and thank you so much for listening, and have a nice day or night.